Hello and welcome back to my round 3 match of GP Houston. I'm playing against Asti, who's on blue Fliers, and I'm on Dreamsight Minister 8 Sack, a 144 card deck that, well, it looks crazy and does crazy things. And looking at Asti's deck, I think game 1 at least, I'm not as worried. I was going to be a lot more worried about this matchup, but then I realized that they don't actually have Cosmic Sinkholes in the main board. But I am on a draw, which is not good. So the main thing I'm worried about is my opponent killing me before I can do anything, but this hand is definitely really good because if I can turn 3 Pensive Songwriter, and they have no way to stop that thing, I think, in the main deck, right? Yeah, so turn 3 Pensive Songwriter into, I guess, a Beckon. So Beckon 2 drops. What 2 drops I fetch if I do that? Well, I can think about when I get there. Maybe if I draw something else that's really good. Well, that's not it, but maybe I get something better. It's looking more and more like I'm just going to turn 3 Pensive Songwriter into Beckon. The best Beckon target usually would be Pronouncer Preserves, but unfortunately, Pronouncer is not good here because all of Asti's guys have flying, so the Pronouncer tokens aren't going to be chumping forever. And I'm actually quite worried now because I do need to draw something better than what I currently have. Darn, I drew both of my off-color main checks. That's quite annoying. So yeah, I have to Pensive into Beckon next turn, but like, what do I Beckon into? That would catch me back up. Oh, then if they play a Griffin Country, I'm kind of screwed. Crossing the Fog. Okay, sure. I wonder if I should just Pensive Songwriter into 2 Fogborns, because, I mean, I get Crossing the Fog and Fairy Infiltration, and then I use Fairy Infiltration token to block. That doesn't seem very good. Well, I get whacked for 5, which doesn't seem that bad, but they get to pick off all 3 cards off the Crossing the Fog. So that's basically an Ancestral Recall there. And now I... Selected Breeding. Interesting. So now my options open up way more. Because if I Pensive Beckon into 2 Pronouncers, now I get to tap 2 lands, and then I get to Pronouncer, I guess to Selected Breeding, one of the Pronouncers into a 3-drop. So then, is there a 3-drop that I can get that would save me? Rapacious Rattler, right? Right, Selected Breeding can't get Rapacious Rattler. So if that's not going to work, what else will? Well, let me look through my deck yet again. There's going to be a lot of looking through my decks when I'm playing this deck, because there's lots of things to think about. So, can I do any lines with Kaone? Because I can select the breeding in... No, I can't, because Pensive Songwriter is not a wizard, it's a bard. So what if I just do Pensive Songwriter, Selected Breeding? What can I do with that? Is there anything that lets me free cast? I can Selected Breeding into another Pensive Songwriter, which lets me Beckon. What does that do? It lets me Beckon with the Selected Breeding floating, but that's not going to do anything. What other humans do I have at 3? Oh, I have Master Negotiator. Does grabbing Master Negotiator do anything for me? Not really. Well, these guys die if I target them. Is there anything that targets at 3? No, not really either. Well, I think I've actually spent way too long. I don't want to keep my opponent waiting anymore. I think I'll just go with the most natural line, which is Pensive Songwriter. Songwriter out the Beckon. Beckon fetches Pronouncer Preserves, I think. I mean, that's the line you have to go with, right? Because otherwise it just does nothing. So where's Pronouncer? There we go. So I make the auras, which I'll attach to... I need to aggregate one of the red predicting lands, and that also makes 4 antelopes. And then also Pensive Songwriter floats the Beck in the pack. And then I just selected breeding now, right? Actually, maybe I can hold on to selected breeding, because that means next turn I can selected breeding for 5. I just need to survive this turn. What does Asti have that can kill me in 1 turn? Does Duke, Gerard, Hoff do anything? +2. So that thing adds 6 damage. Now Duke plus Griffin Country knocks me down to 1 life, which means I can't tap this guy anymore, so that's 4 mana. I think that's still fine. So, actually I could have educated Beckon. Well, no point in thinking about this now. I think I just end my turn here and hope for something good next turn. Fairy Infiltration end of turn. Okay, so if they have Duke, Gerald, Hoff, I'm just dead. Now, was there anything I could have done with Selective Breeding that would have prevented that? So selected into a 3-drop. Yeah, I don't think there's any 3-drops that would answer a Duke. But I mean, on the bright side, if they don't have a Duke, I get to go off next turn. Because Selective Breeding fetches an Ophidian Orco at this point, right? It can go up an Ophidian Orco, and then Ophidian Orco actually doesn't do much. They don't have the right pieces to... Okay, good. They don't have lethal on me this turn. So now I have to think about what I'm doing for a combo next turn. They also begin with Speaker of the Iris, but that doesn't really do much. They're only hitting me for 6. That's really nice. In fact, I wonder if I just have some way to force through a lethal. Something I really want to do here is beckon the speaker into 2 rapacious valors, because that just completely wipes the board. Does Meteor Harbinger do anything? I mean, that wipes the board, right? And I can select the breeding into Meteor Harbinger. So the question is that what I do here? So I need 3, so x equals 3 to get this, to get this into Meteor Harbinger, and I can do that. Actually, I can get into Meteor Harbinger and also beckon it afterwards, right? That seems really good if I do that. That actually just starts a chain if I beckon into Fire True Seeker, right? So in that case, would I rather just play Speaker and beckon that? Oh no, I want to wipe the board first, and then I can try to start a chain. So that means I attack with everything. Is there anything that I can do with 1 mana that would kill both pronouncers? No, right? Yeah, there's absolutely nothing that they can do. So I'll swing up first. How do you block? Wait, crap, I just realized. That means I can no longer try to haste into Infectious Eagle. That's actually something that I probably should have thought about. But maybe hasting into Infectious Eagle isn't what I want at this point. So anyways, let's get this thing rolling. And by rolling, I mean select the breeding for x equals 3, back into Pronouncer, fetching up a Meteor Harbinger, board wiping, and then beckoning. So, ouch, ouch. Actually, maybe do I need Meteor Harbinger? I could have just beckoned into 2 Rapacious Valors with the chain, right? And then even had a Fitting Oracle to bound the speaker. Well, too late for that. I beckon the Meteor Harbinger, which finds me 2 Fire True Seekers. Fire True Seekers targets these 2 guys, so I'm gonna have to decide how to stack this thing. I should stack the beckon first, I think, because that lets me beckon into an Ancestral Council, fetching me 2 things, and then with that, I can select the breeding the other Fire True Seeker and get Speaker of the Iris. Let's meet a bound and start a bound chain again. Yeah, so I do this first, beckoning out an Ancestral Council. That's the best option, right? Yeah, that fetches me Beckon and Lurk. I think that's how it goes. Where's the other Beckon? Yeah, there we go. And now, second Fire True Seeker, selected breedings into a Speaker, right? Speaker is the right thing here. Right. You need to think of it. Because I can also sack an Ancestral Council and fetch up. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll select the breeding into Speaker, however, is kind of useless right now because I already attacked, so the haste is not very useful, but it bounds. I can take advantage of that. Then here, lurk up to I didn't need to get into the Fire True Seeker, never mind. But the slight misplay, but whatever. So this thing dies. I fetch up an Fitting Oracle now. That's finally up the chain. Draw a card. Bound back into pack. So now I get 2 hasty Infectious Eagles, although I can't really attack with them because I already attacked this turn. So instead of Infectious Eagles, I should probably just get something else, something that gains me life. That helps me not die to random stuff. Pine Blight Caribou would be good, but I would have to sack lands for that, but maybe I'm fine with doing that. And yeah, I think I am fine with doing that. The Pine Blight Caribou, second, and then Pine Blight ETBs, Nomad Township, sack, gain 2, draw a card, consume, gain 2, draw a card. And that's my turn. Pretty good turn, wouldn't you say? Asti untaps, draws. I don't think they have a way to answer this board. I mean, even if they do, I got Minister of Madness lined up in the future. Okay, Asti concedes after thinking for a while, but way shorter time than I spent thinking during my turn. So on to sideboarding. For hate, Asti has 4 Cosmic Sinkholes, 2 Tiles, 2 Spell Pierces, and 3 Sealed Riftways, and now there are all things I have to consider. But they have a lot of hate to bring in. Cosmic Sinkhole and Spell Pierce are what I'm mostly worried about because counter spells are really good against my pod effects because I have to sack something as a cost. So if they get countered, I'm losing a lot. That's for what I can't do. Outrange Rage comes in. Starbane Elemental literally does nothing, which is funny. And I think I also bring in all my burn. And then Flying Priest, Anointed Curse. Yeah, literally my entire board's good. Do I want Anointed and Charming? Yeah, I do, because they kill Phantasmal Owl, which is one of the more important cards of their deck. I think Foxfury and Summit Guardian aren't that good, even though they do stop counter spells, because they're playing down creatures first, and I'm the one that's responsible for answering them. Blackbow does nothing. Fogborn also does nothing. Master Negotiator feels weak, but it steals Griffin Country. Well, I mean, so does Charming Marauder. Or Charming Marauder also deals with Griffin Country, and it's also the same creature type, so there isn't any selective breeding considerations. It also yanks creatures. Oh no, Master Negotiator doesn't deal with General Hoff, and that's the main thing I'm worried about. What does deal with General Hoff anyways? Actually, just any of my pod effects. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Other than that, do I want the entire Wavebreaker combo? I'll keep it in. Actually, Seer Flashes aren't that good because they're way too slow, so cut the Seer Flashes. Solar Flares? Yeah. I'll try running this, and hopefully it works out well for me. So, let's see. And with really nothing, but a really good start if I draw anything. Do I keep and risk? Yeah, do I take the risk? I think I'm willing to mulligan this. Alright, so this hand's a lot better because it has Solar Flare, so it can answer stuff. I keep this and bottom Power Scour because I'm never casting that. Actually, maybe I should have bottom Caribou instead because I really don't want it in my hand because that means I can't beckon it anymore. So Timber Range is probably fetching the Tri-land. And they start with Lord Rokai, sure. But actually Solar Flare isn't that good because it doesn't gain life if you kill Lord Rokai with it. So my plan here is just to get up to the Conjure Realities and start a chain, because I have Beckon and I have Conjure. I can Conjure for Pensive Songwriter, which allows me to play Pensive immediately and Beckon it immediately. So with that knowledge, Lush Oasis, Forest, Florist Crevasse, is that the land sequencing I want to do? Do I need double red? I mean, I preferably want it, but not important right now. So how important is 2 life compared to double red? And that's one Lord Rokai string, whatever. I'm playing it tapped. Wait, this is a horrible play because now Flourishing Crevasse isn't going to be untapped for Solar Flare next turn. Okay, yeah, I definitely should have played this untapped. That was mistake number 1. And this thing needs to fetch a blue source because I have Conjure Realities. But maybe I get bailed out by top decking another blue source, so I don't longer have to fetch blue sources with this. Actually, if they play General Hoff, I can just sack it, so I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, that did not bail me out. I can fetch Crystal Caverns if I really want to keep up Solar Flare, but I really don't want to do that. I think I just accept that Solar Flare is going to be offline for 1 more turn, and try to use this to bluff a counterspell. End of turn Fairy Infiltration, I guess? Yeah. And at this point, they almost certainly have a Cosmic Cinco or a Spell Pierce in hand. And that's what I'm really worried about, because if they counter my Conjure on 4, then I really have no follow-up. Actually, no, I have a lot of follow-up. I have a lot of different things to do on 4, but they're all really slow. I can try to play Lysandra, and then if that thing sticks, then now all my creatures are fetching stuff. Well, no, it's going to stick, but if I don't die immediately after it... Wait, no, that's flying. It's a decent blocker. So it's not even that bad. And now I'm going to fetch for my Tri-land. So, Spell Pierce. Alright, interesting. Absolute Flare plus Spell Pierce up. I don't think it really means much, but I'll pass. And if I top deck a land, I can start playing out my 4 drops. If I don't top deck a land, I'm kind of screwed. And I'm still going to take here, though, because they're holding Cosmic Cinco. Like, they're just holding it because they're super afraid of what I can do. Do I just Solar Flare now, just to gain some life, and get the 1/1 out there? I think so. Yeah, I'll go for that. If that baits a Cosmic Cinco, then that's really good for me. And it goes through. So what do I draw? Another Beck. Okay, this is not good. I have to pass here. Well, as long as I keep playing in Fear, then I'm fine, because it really limits the amount of damage they can put through. So either they're really playing Fear, or they're screwed. I think it's more likely to be the former, because no way they don't have any 1-mana plays on these lands with 6 cards. Well, now I have to play Logger Recluse. It is a clock, if nothing else. If they don't play anything else and only attack with Rokai, Logger Recluse is a clock, and it will race the Rokai. If I draw any pod effects, especially Selective Breeding, then I'm really happy, because I get to Selective the Logger Recluse and then even hold up Spell Pierce in case they have a Cosmic Sinkhole. And Kyone, that's not what I need. I just swing with Logger Recluse, right? Yeah, if they want to play in Fear, then feel free to. Yeah, pump this guy. Maybe Asti's just assuming I have lots of stuff in hand, and that's why they're just not willing to part with any of their counter spells. They don't actually know that I'm not playing anything out because I literally can't play anything out. So yeah, take 2. And the longer... Holy crap, they're so scared that I have a chain going that they're willing to discard Griffin Country. Well, now I actually have my 4th land, so I do have the possibility of starting a chain. Unfortunately, I don't have any super good ways to do that. So what, I tap out for Pine Black Caribou, it gets countered. Is that a good outcome for me? Only if they're only holding 1 counter spell. I think it's worth just trying to slam the Pine Black Caribou. It's either Pine Blight or Lysandra. I need to slam something. It's not going to be Conjure, because that's something I really don't want to be countered. So I want to play Conjure once I have 5 lands. Pine Black Caribou, if it resolves, lets me find lands. If it doesn't resolve, then it eats up from the counter spells for Conjure. I think that's a solid plan. Alternatively, I can just keep going forward with this game state. What happens if that's what I do? So what, swing with Logger. Rokai kills in 4 turns, right? No, 5 turns. Logger Recluse kills in 4 turns. So Logger Recluse will win the race, I think. Yeah. I think I'm just going to keep waiting. I can afford to keep waiting. once I have 5 lands, I conjure. Well, actually, I need a second blue source too. But once I have 5 lands, I conjure with 1 mana floating or 1 mana untapped. Asti is forced to Cosmic for 2. Then I Spell Pierce it and I go off. And that seems like a decent plan. Yeah, if they're going to play unfair, then so am I. Let's see. Is Asti finally going to tap out for something? They whack me, and they don't. They're going to keep discard to hand size. Unless they have a bunch of Aero Adepts that they literally can't cast. That would also be pretty funny. So, land, but not the right color. Well, now I can slam Pine Black Caribou with Spell Pierce backup. And Pine Black Caribou basically negates Rokai in the race. And then if I tap with that thing, then now I get to beckon it. So yeah, try to slam Pine Black Caribou. You counter. They will try to counter, and unfortunately that's not going to work. I also don't have a good way to deal with Pine Black Caribou in play, I think. So I gain 2, draw a card. Secret Iris. Okay, I'm getting more parts of my combo now. So now I pass. Next turn, Pine Black Caribou. I'm willing to sack a land to Pine Black Caribou, I think. Or I can just play Speaker. Oh, actually, they also have 2 lands that are pinging them, so they are pretty close to dead. If I play Speaker and they... Okay, now Speaker is just lethal. Assuming Asti doesn't play any more blockers. Or, no, it's not quite lethal, but it's very close to lethal. Or no, it literally is just lethal because Logger... no, I can't pay for Logger. Never mind. Seems like they definitely got hard land screwed, I think. Okay, so now they finally play a Farwinder's Guardian. I wonder how long they've been holding onto that thing for. They definitely have Cosmic Sinkhole mana. Oh no, they definitely have Spell Pierce. Then I have to play around that, and the best way to do that is just playing Speaker of the Iris, which is not a non-creature spell. Fitting Oracle. Okay, that's also really nice. So I do want to play around both Spell Pierce and Cosmic Sinkhole, so the way to do that is to play Speaker of the Iris and then present lethal. No, Speaker, Trione, present lethal, right? Single Fury Infiltration will not save them. Yeah, so that does it. So Speaker of the Iris, does it go through? You can't Cosmic Sinkhole that, and you can't Spell Pierce that. Now I get to bound Trione, which gets back Solar. Oh no, it flashes back Solar Flare because that's 2 spellcast. Holy crap, that's amazing. I almost forgot that I had Solar Flare in the yard. And Asti just says GG. Yeah, I'm curious to see Asti's video once they release it. Because I wonder like how many playable cards they had in hand and how long they were just not playing any of them and just keeping up counter spells against me who literally couldn't do anything. But if my instincts are correct and that's what Asti did, then this game is a good showcase of what happens when you're living in fear too much. You end up losing to an opponent that doesn't have the thing that you're trying to play around because you gave them too much time to draw into the thing that you're playing around, plus backup to get through that thing in the form of mana. But yeah, that's 3 wins in this GP so far. I think the deck is performing quite well, way beyond my expectations even.